Oh, Sam, another each way double, I think.
Let's have a crack at the entry bowl of a horse like this.
Without doubt, the best race I've ever seen live.
Not a
That
cliff
is a
horse.
cliff horse. You can't say
not.
that's not a cliff horse. That is.
Yes, hello and a warm welcome to the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel for our weekend preview, looking ahead to some of the good racing that we've got on Saturday and also some action on Sunday from an international point of view that we get into at the end of the show. Joined by Jack Dawling, who's now back in Hong Kong after Saudi Arabia. Jack, just quickly to you, how good was it out in Saudi?
Oh, Sam, it was absolutely immense. It was without doubt the best race I'd ever seen live. It was some atmosphere as well. It was about 7 or 8 deep with a lot of locals there up against the rail. I watched it from about 50 metres out, and goodness me, Romantic Warrior, he held his head high and couldn't quite deliver the landing blow to Forever Young, but it was a fantastic race, and look, it's brilliant to see international racing thriving.
It was just superb. I honestly enjoyed all the action out in Saudi Arabia, and we did get a lovely winner in the Saudi Derby with Golden Vacoma as well, which was nice to see. And Jack, can you remember last week I asked you to give a subscriber target for us to hit? And can you remember what you said?
I said 2,290, which you weren't too happy about, but
we hit it bang on. We did. We hit it absolutely slap bang on the head. So thanks for hitting all the target, everyone. And as always, do subscribe. Once again, we have got a lot of content coming, Jack. And next week, the week before Cheltenham, how many days are we uploading on this channel?
All 7 days, Sam.
That's it. Yeah, all 7 days here on the Next Gen Racing YouTube channel. We've got 7 days of content coming to you from next week. On Monday, we start off with our day one preview, and then running through to Thursday, we've got each day. So Tuesday, day 2, Wednesday, day 3, Thursday, day 4. We've also got on Thursday our weekend preview that'll have the Imperial Cup. We'll look ahead to the Saturday racing. Then on Friday, we have our handicap fancies. Saturday, our top 5 bets video. And then Sunday, you'll see our final episode of the anti-post series, all coming to you around 6 p.m. every day, so do look out for that. And we will have content during the week of the festival as well on YouTube Shorts, where we'll have our best bet of the day that you'll see the night before each day of racing. So really looking forward to next week. So much content coming your way. Short, snappy previews. Really excited about that. Right, let's get into the video then, Jack. And we have 4 races to look forward to this weekend that we've handpicked. We're handpicking them now on this channel, the best races that we want to cover. And we start off at Kelso. We're looking at 3 races, and it is the 220 that we're looking at first. To get the prices up currently, where the favourite is Ace of Spades at 2-1, Mr. Bramley's 4-1, Nab Wood is 6-1, Bold Light 7s, Iron Allen and Joe Cook are 12s, and 16-1 bar these. Jack, I'm going to kick things off here. I'm going to take a price on one, an each way price at 20-1 with Young Jack, who won he won a nice race here back in early December under Danny McMenamin. That was off a mark of 116, and his RPR pretty much matched that performance that day. He was then raised £5 for that win and struggled at Haydock the time after, where he was pulled up over a 3-mile trip. He then ran back here 2 weeks ago with talented £5 claimer William Maggs, who's taking the ride once again here. That was over 2 furlongs short, and he ran really well and stayed on third that day. He ran to an RPR of 115, so again, he came back to a bit of form. If he does deliver another similar run, I do think he'll go close. Like I say, he's near the bottom of the weight. He's got a £5 claimer in William Maggs on board. I think this is a good each way bet in this race. He loves the course. So yeah, I'll take the 20-1 about Young Jack. So from tipping Young Jack to getting a selection off Young Jack, who do you like?
Oh wow, you've been waiting for that one, didn't you? You've been waiting for that segue for sure. But yeah, there you go. I'm going to keep this one simple. I really want to take on Ace of Spades, actually. I think he's kind of had it his own way at Cheltenham over 2 miles. I don't think that race last time out really is. There's too much going on there. So I'm actually going to go for the top weight, Mr. Bramley. He's still pretty lightly raced. He's got 4 wins from his 6 runs over hurdles. The penny still looks like it's actually dropping as well. He wasn't quite any match for Jipko in quite a muddling affair at Newbury, but he bounced back with a nice win at Wetherby last out. His last 2 wins have actually come at Wetherby on softish ground. I think he's going to get nice conditions here, and I think it will be over a trip that he'll be able to handle. So Mr. Bramley at 4-1 for me will be the first selection.
Okay, Mr. Bramley at 4s for Jack to kick things off, and I'll be with Young Jack in that handicap hurdle at 20-1. Let's get into some graded action then. A race we might talk a little bit more in depth about, but the 255 at Kelso is the Premier Novices hurdle. Grade 2 contest over 2 mile 2 furlongs. Currently looking at the best odds here. Chart topper for Willie Mullins and Patrick Mullins currently 4-1. Vanderpole is 9-2. Dedicated Hero 11-2. Listen to Your Heart is 7-1. 10-1 about Logan Hill. Roadless Travelled 11-1. That's a fair price. And looking at much bigger about the other 3 in here. Now, Jack, Dedicated Hero was a great winner for us a few weeks back. A day where, honestly, I probably could have tipped Goshen up to win a champion hurdle and he probably would have won it that day. Everything seemed to land for us. We know that you're a big fan of Dedicated Hero. We both were that day. Are you a fan of him once again here?
I am, but not enough to actually tip him up. I thought it was a good win last time out, but I thought the race was not very good at all, Sam, to be honest. It was over 2 miles, of course, at Haydock on soft ground, and look, he's definitely improving, but I think this race just has a little bit more depth. The likes of Chart Topper, Vanderpole, and even the likes of Road Less Travelled, but the selection for me is going to be Castle Carrick. I think to win on soft ground over 2 miles at Sandown on your first start over hurdles takes some doing. And he jumped well. He made one mistake, but he jumped pretty well. Tom Cannon, of course, sticks with him here. He absolutely hacked up in his bumper, and quite simply, I think he could be a decent prospect here. So I expect him to. He's actually a reasonable price. I thought at around the 11-2 mark, the 13-2 mark. So I think there he's a decent little win bet. But I do think it's a pretty competitive race, and I wouldn't be surprised if Dedicated Hero is there or thereabouts.
Yeah, it is. It is a really interesting race. It really is. I've been trying to go through, but I end up sticking to the one that's the highest rated in the field currently. It's Roadless Travelled. It's taking a chance on him to come back for form. It really is. But yeah, it was hard to see probably what went wrong the time at Aintree in the Formby because we had plenty of fog, and I've been trying to watch it back to see if anything really was noticeable, and there wasn't really anything there. But this horse has had a decent break now, and he was a comfortable winner. But prior to that run in the Formby at Haydock, Weatherby and Market Raisin looked really, really solid. And I thought actually going into that form, he would run a really massive race. But like I say, you're expecting him to come back to form, and you're going to need him to come back to form in this race. There is a lot of depth to it. I do think Dedicated Hero will run his race once again, definitely. But I think Roadless Travelled, look, he's rated 137. He has got to refine a bit of form. I don't know exactly what went wrong when pulled up last time at Aintree, but I'll take a chance. 11-1 at the moment. We've got more than 8 runners, so we're going to get each way odds of 3 places. I think he's a decent bet in here. So Roadless Travelled for me at the 11-1 mark. The 3:30 at Kelso is the big one, well, the big handicap hurdle. It's the Morebattle hurdle over 2 miles, and Vicio is currently topping the market for Emmett Mullins and Danny Mullins at 5-1. Favour and Fortune, a lot of people fancying this horse to go and win here, and then potentially at the Cheltenham Festival 7-1. Florida Dreams is 12-1. Alnam is 14-1. Petrolhead 14-1. Slugger 14-1. Gentleman Bill 16s and 20s bar these. Jack, I'll let you go first here. A really nice competitive handicap. I was there at the Dublin Race Festival when Vicio won. Came out of absolutely nowhere. Really good ride by Danny Mullins. Interesting that they've come over here for this race. Likely winner or taking on the favourite?
I'm going to take on the favourite. I think there are two horses in this race who could actually go and win it by 5, 6, 7 lengths. One of them is Vicio, but I think when it's Emmett Mullins, Willie Mullins at Kelso, I think they're just a little bit overbet. And yes, they're probably overbet because their strike rate is very, very good, but at the same time, you like to try and take them on if you can. I think Teller the Name really does have the potential to blow this out the absolute water. Look, he was a nose behind Django Bay in his first start over hurdles and absolutely destroyed an inexperienced lucky place at Huntingdon. Look, was pulled up in Grade 1 company after that, but then bounced back with a pretty easy win at Huntingdon again in a novice hurdle. Was actually thrown into the Supreme. He was only 14-1 for the Supreme. I know it was a below par Supreme, and then of course first up this year was a respectable fourth behind an unbeatable Sergino, beat him 14 lengths. I think 137, still pretty respectable. He's only had 6 runs over hurdles. Yes, he has only won 2 of those, but I do think he's destined for bigger and better things, and it'd be nice to go and see him win here, and I think he's a backable price.
Tell her the name then. Yeah, that's the one for Jack. And again, another horse that could win here and then potentially go on to Cheltenham as well and run a decent race. So wait and see. Now, I went through this race, and this isn't. I don't think this is a cliff horse at all, because you can't have a cliff horse where you've tipped the horse up twice and one time it fell out the picture and the other time it won in the same race. But it's going to be Orcan Risk once again, and he's 25-1 for this race here.
Sam.
Right.
That is a cliff horse. You can't say
not.
that's not a cliff horse. That is.
Well, when you tip it up to win a bet for hurdle and then goes and wins, and you tip it up again, the ground went against it, and it's the only time I've actually put it up on this channel. I'm pretty sure. I wouldn't say I've done it any more than
Is
that.
it?
So
It feels like you've
yeah,
done more.
I'm pretty sure. So
Fair
look,
play.
I looked at the price, and 25 to 1 is far too big. This time the ground is going to be in his favour. The ground currently is good to soft at Kelso, and it looks like we're going to have drying ground all the way up until Saturday. So I don't think it will get any better. Any worse than good to soft. Chris Gordon sending one to Kelso is really fascinating. It's a long, long way from their yard around Winchester way. A real long way. It's the longest this horse has ever travelled from what I can see. And Chris's son Freddie's taking the ride. £3 claim. He gets along really well with this horse. And you got to remember, about 2 weeks ago, Chris's horses were absolutely flying in. They were firing winners, especially at his local track of Plumpton and Fontwell. But they were running really well. And even though he hasn't had a winner in the last 14 days at the time of recording, all his horses are still running extremely well. He does need good ground. He is well handicapped. He's been dropped £1 since that run in that William Hill handicap at Newbury. I think it's a great opportunity. Why are they sending a horse this far for a race like this? I think he's a fantastic. You're going to get 4 or 5 places with some of these bookies. I think he's a fantastic each way bet, especially if he comes up good to soft. Chris he's always said they're waiting for some good ground for this horse. I genuinely do feel I'm convincing myself this could be one of my best bets of the weekend. But 25 to 1 is a really big price about all can risk, in my opinion. So there we go. One at the top of the market from Jack, one at the bottom from me in the Morebattle hurdle. Right, we now move away from Kelso to the only other race we're covering from Newbury. It's the 3:45. There is the Greatwood Gold Cup Handicap Chase, a big Premier Handicap there, over 2 mile. 4 furlongs. The betting currently looks like this. Billy the Big Red is the 9-2 favourite. Iroko's 11-2. Can Do Kid is 6-1. Lamilos is 7s. Vincenzo and Scarface at 8-1. 10-1 about Saint Seagull and 16-1 bar these. I'll kick things off here, Jack, and I'm going to go with the one at the top of the weights, and it's Can Do Kid. Nichols, we know he's back into form, but he's currently riding at a 20% strike rate. Cobden at 33% strike rate in the saddle. Winner of the Coral Gold Cup after wind surgery, and a decent break at that. And I never like backing horses first time up after wind surgery, but I'm a huge fan of backing them second time up. And the fact this horse won that Coral Gold Cup, I still think there is improvement once again. He's currently rated 152. If he wins this, he's going to shoot up once again. And I do think we're dealing with a graded horse here. I genuinely, if he were to win this in really impressive style, it wouldn't surprise me if Nichols were to go, let's have a crack at the Aintree Bowl of a horse like this, because he wouldn't be too far off where the likes of Ahoy Senor and Corbett's Cross were rated this time last season. So I do think he has the ability to become a graded horse. He is a 9-year-old, but if you actually look, he's not overly raced for a 9-year-old. He hasn't had that many runs for Paul Nichols. And like I say, the way I think he could go and win this, I think he is still well handicapped. I think he is a top quality horse, even off top weight. And if he does win this, like I think he may win this, I think we're dealing with a classy animal here and a potential graded winner of the future. So I'm going to give Candy Kid. He's one at the top of the market at 6-1, but that'll do for me. Jack, who for you?
Yeah, I think Billy the Real Big Red was one that I was kind of being kept drawing back to, the improving 5-year-old, but he just got everything in his own way last time at Cheltenham and still didn't get the job done when Jaguar went and won. You got the likes of Roker there, who I always tentative of backing when you know he's got a bigger target in the future. It looks like it's going to turn out to be a real big test here, and I think Midnight River's the one I'm going to stick the neck out for. I just think he's slipping back to a nice mark, and when it's done Skelton and he is just sliding down the weights, it's quite hard to ignore. Yes, he hasn't been at his best this season. He's been beating about 70 lengths on his past 3 starts, but I think he might actually just be able to strike off this mark. I think this is the easiest race he's contested in by far this year. He's won over 3 miles, and I think his stamina will hopefully come into effect here. He got up to a rating of 156. He's down to 145 now. Yes, he is definitely regressing a little bit, and I know it's easy to say he's back on an eye-catching mark, but I'm going to give him one more chance at an all right price, so it'd be Midnight River for me here. So.
Okay, Midnight River, yeah, around 16-1. Might like to say you're going to get extra place in a race like this as well. So Jack with Midnight River, and I will be with Can Do Kid in the Greatwood Gold Cup Handicap Chase. So there we go. There's the four races that Jack and I wanted to cover this week. There may be other races that you guys wanted to cover, but you can let us know down in the comments if you fancied any of the horses in any of the other races on the ITV cards this weekend. Jack, is there any other action in the UK or Ireland that you fancy, or are we going to go straight into an international angle here?
Oh, nothing for me for UK and Ireland. Get me to Hong Kong.
Right, okay, we'll get Jack's Hong Kong thoughts in just a second. I'm going to go Well, I'm going to go to Meydan. Super Saturday this weekend. What a fantastic card we've got out in Meydan on Saturday. We've got 2 listed contests. We've got 3 Group 3s and 3 Group 2s on the card there. The first race I just want to quickly mention is the Jumeirah 1000 Guineas. Mountain Breezes in this for Charlie Appleby and William Buick. This horse, you may remember last season over in England, was second to Arabian Dusk in the Duchess of Cambridge Stakes at Newmarket's July course, and then second to Lake Victoria in the Sweet Solera over the same course as well. Now, she already looks like she's taken a massive leap forward as a 3-year-old. She really does. I was proper taken with her win back in the Mord Stakes at the back end of January, which was a conditioned race. I was really, really taken, Jack. She's unlikely to be that much of a price here. I think there's only 6 runners in this race, but she's 50-1 for the 1,000 guineas currently. I was really impressed by the step forward she's taken. I have had a bet at 50s for the 1,000 guineas in May time. And the other one, this one here, I don't often have them, but this is becoming a Meydan Cliff horse potentially. But Crown Estate runs once again, or he is entered in the Al Maktoum Challenge at 4:35. This is on the dirt. The case that I made in that Firebreak Stakes, where he was about 50-1, and I was making the case of him going 15 wide on his prior start. Well, what did he do again? He was held up and went 15 wide basically again, didn't he? And he did run a really big race in a Group 2 contest to finish 5th. He should have finished a lot closer. Jack and I did have a message after the race and said probably should have placed. And I do think that this horse will pick up a decent prize at some stage, even a place in a Group 2 contest like this. I do think it will be a fair price for him. So I'm going to see what price he is on the day. If he's a big price, I will have to back him each way once again. So that's Crown Estate in the Al Maktoum Challenge, and do look out for Mountain Breeze in the Jumeirah 1000 Guineas. But like I said, there's plenty of good action out in Meydan this weekend. Jack, we've also got some really good action out in Hong Kong this weekend.
Yeah, there's the Hong Kong Classic Cup taking centre stage this weekend, race 7 over 9 furlongs. It's the second of the 3 legs of the 4-year-old series, Hong Kong's equivalent of the 2,000 guineas and the Derby. And there's a horse in there in race 7, number 11, Packing Angel, who's drawn stall 1. Joe Moreira's on board. Zach Purton was meant to be on board. Of course, he's sideline injured. He took a little bit of time to come to fruition in Hong Kong, but he's won his past 3 starts in really good style, especially his last start over 1,400 metres. He steps up from 7 furlongs to 9 furlongs. He's got great gate speed. He'll be able to get a nice position on the rail there, and I think he could be able to relish this 9 furlongs. So he's 13-2 at the moment with Bet365, which I think is a fair enough price. We've actually got the luxury of prices being out for the race on Sunday. So Packing Angel in the Classic Cup, race 7, is the first selection, and the second, you have to wait for this price, is in race 10, number 2, Glory Elite. I think he'll be a bit of a price as well. He also ran in the Classic Mile, bombed out there. He's back to 6 furlongs though. His last start over 6 furlongs, he led it at a good speed. The race completely suited closers, but he clung on there for third, only beaten half a length. He's drawn now in stall 4, and I think he's got a good chance of going pretty close. So Glory Elite in race 10 and in race 7, Packing Angel, both I think have really good chances on Sunday, Sam.
There we go, a couple from Jack then, and Packing Angel. I hope Jack doesn't mind me saying this, but he has been really sweet for a couple of weeks on Packing Angel for this race. So yeah, 13-2, a fair price currently with Bet365 for that on Sunday. So some good international action, got plenty of action in the UK, but it's now time to get our best bet for the weekend. This could come from anywhere. It could come from the UK, could come from Hong Kong. I'm going to stick with the UK, Jack. I'm going to take my chance in the Greatwood Gold Cup handicap chase, and I'm gonna put up Can Do Kid at 6. This is my nap of the weekend. How about you?
Sam, it's got to be one of those, isn't it? It's got to be another each way double. I think it's got to be Tell Her the Name in the Morebattle hurdle, and then over in Hong Kong on Sunday, Packing Angel in the Classic Cup. Let's throw them both in an each way double.
There we go, yeah, and that's going to be a huge price. We'll probably tweet out the price of that, but Jack's nap, a huge each way double there. Let's see if we can get that in this week. As always, big thanks for watching. Do remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I need to set a target, and I will do it on this Sunday's anti-post episode for what we're going to set for the back end of Cheltenham. As in, we have so much content where we want to be at the end of Cheltenham, but we will have a big target for that. But do like, comment, share, and subscribe. We are back this Sunday for our next episode, episode 4 of the anti-post series, where Jack and I will be answering your questions, some of your comments from the weeks gone by, getting some of them in and giving our next anti-post selection for the Cheltenham Festival. Really looking forward to that. So do join us once again on Sunday at 6 p.m. And remember, the week after, we've got so much content coming your way, 7 days of upload. Really looking forward to that. So yeah, do look out for that. Big thanks to Jack. Thanks for watching. We'll see you very soon.